Hi, I'm Ashley. Welcome to my channel. I did half my makeup today because I'm lazy. So, sorry. Today I'm going to be talking about my two Cargo Cosmetics palettes. I have the Getaway Palette and then I have the Emerald City Eyeshadow Palette. I briefly mentioned these before in a video, so if you've heard me mention this before, you'll kind of know why I am talking about this today. And the reason is because I bought the Getaway palette first months and months ago. Really loved it, and I'll show you inside what it looks like. So we have a lot of purple and cool tones, some sort of like tan colors, but again more of a cool tone with that. And overall just a very pretty and unique to my collection palette. I don't know that it's really a dupe for anything or similar to anything in particular. If you see something about this that reminds you of another palette, let me know in the comments what it reminds you of, because I would love to see some other things. But the idea with these Cargo Cosmetics palettes is that they're kind of made to be looked at in quads. So they would, you know, they think you're going to look at these four together, the middle four together, and the end four together. And those are kind of cohesive palettes within the big palette. I don't really necessarily agree with that, but I'll get into that as we go along. And then we have the Emerald City Cosmetics. This one I bought more recently. You can see it came with a shattered mirror, but that's besides the point. I'm not really huge about the mirrors anyway. But this one, again, we have a lot of cool tones. I love cool tones. And I was really struck by these greens on the outer side here, but they're all very pretty shades in here. And so I saw this, I remembered how much I liked the Getaway palette because of the quality for the price that I got. And so I decided to pick this one up. Now, again, this one is supposed to be looked at in quads. So it wants you to look at these, and then these greens on the end, kind of like in little quads. And my issue that I'm having is that I don't find that the quads themselves are enough on their own. So first I wanted to show you some swatches so we can kind of look at it more closely. So we're going to start with the Getaway palette. Starting from the top row, we have Road Trip, Journey, Luggage, Route, Passport, and Flight. Then the bottom row, we have Map, Tour, Resort, Vacation, Traveler, and Highway. And now that we've seen some swatches of the Getaway palette, let's go ahead and look at the Emerald City. Starting with the top row, we have Northwest, Fairy, Space Needle. That one hardly came up at all, so I'm just going to add some more to see if that's a buildable color or if I just messed that up. Yeah, that one's not very pigmented. Yakima, Seaport, and The Hill. And the bottom row we have Lake Union, Pier 52, Pike Place, Coffee, I might pronounce this one wrong, but Mount Rainier, and Fremont. So now that we've looked at those swatches more closely, you can see while some of them are a little bit patchy, particularly the mattes, the individual metallic or shimmer shades are so pigmented and beautiful. So today I am wearing the Emerald City palette. I'm wearing these two shades, which is Lake Union and Pier 52. And I am also using Fairy as sort of a transition blending shade. And my problem is, before I did this look, which already doesn't look like there's much depth to it, it kind of looks like one shade. I originally did a similar look with these 4 shades. So I attempted to put Pier 52 in the crease, and when I tell you, that thing looked like pigmented, almost like I put on like a thick liquid eyeliner or something. I mean, it went on so solidly pigmented. It was gorgeous. And then I put the Lake Union shade all over the lid, blended those two together. I used Fairy to try to buff out the crease that had the Pier 52 in it. And then I attempted to use Northwest on the brow bone. My problem was, again, I feel like Lake Union and Pier 52, they swatch totally differently, but then when you try to put them in a look together, they kind of get meddled up and they don't stay looking like unique colors. They sort of just kind of meddle into one. And then Fairy, while it is a nice transition shade and I would definitely use it for other looks, I feel that blending out Fairy with another shade in the sort of quad portion works okay, but on my skin at least, it just kind of, again, looks a little bit muddy on me. And then Northwest was way too light and sparkly compared to these other shades to look cohesive in any way. So I say that because I like these palettes. So I don't want you to get the idea that I don't like these palettes. I don't think they're bad palettes. I think some of the shades, a lot of the shades really, are fantastic. But if you go along with their recommendation, and by the way, that recommendation is on like the outer packaging when you buy these, that I always remove and like dispose of because I don't need the extra. So it actually will say on the box it comes in, the quads. So again, the colors in the pan make sense in quads, but I think you're going to have more success with these palettes if you're not afraid to dip between all of them. And I'm thinking a lot of people are not uncomfortable with that, but if you go with just the quad idea, I don't think you'll have as much success. This quad here, this purple quad, I think does okay. And then this like black and gray one does okay, but those are very basic kind of, we've all seen them before kind of quads. Whereas if we go back to the city color, not city colors, I'm sorry, that would be a different video. The Emerald City, that's why I'm getting confused. Again, this one, the colors are unique to any other quad I've seen. Maybe not the brown shades, but the types of shades. And so it just doesn't end up being cohesive. And then these green shades I was so excited for. And again, I do love the shades, but if you try to use them in a quad idea where you're using this as a dark, maybe outer crease color, you're using Mount Rainier as like a crease color, you're using the hill as a lid color, and then this as like an eyebrow, brow bone, it all meddles up and it doesn't work for me in that way. But anyway, I could go on for a while about that and I won't. I already have. Would I recommend buying these? Yes, I would. Especially if you don't have colors like these in your collections already. I think they're a great find. I found them both at Marshall's. I know you can buy them through their website. I'm not sure other websites that might sell Cargo Cosmetics. But when I picked this one up, I was just kind of buying it because I like the purples. And then when I realized the quality that I got for it, I was very pleased. The packaging is pretty, but it's definitely just basic cardboard packaging. So it doesn't feel cheap, but it doesn't feel fancy either. On either of these, especially since I got one that was shattered. And this one does come with a brush. I just took it out because I actually used the one in this particular palette. but just be aware that you're going to need to play around with it and kind of learn how these shadows work, especially if you're like me where you're very, very pale, because I can see using these two the way I used them the first time looking incredible on someone with medium to darker skin, because it wouldn't look so dark on them. Muddy is the word of the day apparently, and I'm sorry I said it so many times. But other than that, that's all I have to say about these palettes. If you have any questions or comments about your experience with Cargo Cosmetics, or any questions about the palettes, or anything in particular that I didn't cover in this video, feel free to throw them down in the comments. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it so much, and I will see you next time.